Alright, today the review of Office for Men, of course by Jeremy Fragrance, most popular fragrance reviewer and right now also perfumer on the internet. I of course reviewed this one a couple months ago, quite liked it, but I hadn't worn it much. Just was not really into the occasions to really wear this one. So right now I've worn this one more. I wore it to school and to family gatherings just to, get a real nice opinion about Office for Men by Fragrance One, of course. Since I work in healthcare, I don't really go to the office. To be honest, it's a bit too strong probably to really wear to where I work. I work, of course, with multiple handicapped people, with also lots of lung damaged lungs, lung sickness. So I can't really wear this one because it's a bit too strong, rather. So let's talk about this fragrance. It's been quite a while since I wore it, and I wore it yesterday with my girlfriend, and I liked it. Let's talk about it. One very important part of this fragrance is a bit strange, and a bit strange for me to start off with the price. But it's quite a remarkable price for the perfume. 100 mils costs you around 220 rather, and 10 mils, like I purchased, costs right now around 50 euros. So it's quite a hefty price for such a small bottle. I have to say it's quite strong, so you don't have to, have that many sprays. I think, especially in healthcare, 2 will be more than sufficient. Probably 1 will be enough. Really going to the office, if you really want to be smelled, I will go with 3 sprays. But even then, if you really cycle it through, 10 mils will get you a long way, of course. It's an eau de parfum concentration, real strong, as I said before. And the interesting part about this one is that Jeremy Fragrance, of course, hired or joined Alberto Morillas for this one. Of course, a popular perfumer with creations among his creations. Acqua di Gio, it's a real popular big name in the fragrance world, and the gimmick or the interesting part, the selling point of this fragrance is that Jeremy said to Alberto Morillas that there's no expense will be too much to create the ultimate office fragrance, if I remember correctly. Real nice, fresh, but also a bit spicy. Definitely develops in the the last 5 minutes I talked. Becomes a little bit sweeter. So let's talk about the notes right now. The top notes are ambroxan, bergamot and orris root. Especially the ambroxan and the orris root are very pronounced. You get some of the bergamot, but it's just a little bit to freshen it up. I would say the ambroxan and the orris roots are pretty heavy in this fragrance. And that's why it reminded me, if you have seen my first review, my first impression of this fragrance, it reminded me quite a lot of Dior Sauvage because of the ambroxan. Of course, this one is an office perfume, just like Dior Sauvage in a way. But this one goes a little bit of a different route. I would not say that it's a clone or whatever. This one is also a bit fresher, a bit more of the bergamot in the top. Real nice opening. The middle notes have woody notes, floral notes, ambergris, amber and jasmine. So woody, a bit sweet, a bit floral, and I really like the combination, the jasmine to make it a little bit lighter, the white floral scent in a way. and the amber to make it a little bit more sweet, combined with the floral notes and the woody notes to, you know, make it an overall masculine fragrance. And in the base, again, woody notes, musk, patchouli, and cachalots. I hope I pronounced cachalots well, but that's a chemical compound or something like that. Personally, I really get the woody notes in it combined with the musk to clean it up a little bit. It has a bit of spiciness, pepperiness. That's probably why it reminds me a little bit of Sauvage, which I don't see in the notes on Fragrantica, but I do get some pepperiness. I don't know if you try this one, you know, think the same about it. But it's definitely a office perfume. I can't really see myself wearing this to a date, perhaps in the morning or whatever, but it's not a really seductive fragrance, but that's of course why he made Office for Men and Date for Men and I don't know, Men for Men, whatever. Those kinds of fragrances for the special occasions, and that's actually what I like about this brand. Because if you look at, for instance, Spice Bomb, you got Spice Bomb Extreme, which is of course the dating fragrance. You got the Night Vision, which is a little bit more efficacy, like everyday wear, fresh. You got the original Spice Bomb, which is more like a clubbing, loud, sweet, not that sweet, but loud, spicy. The infrared is a little bit in between of the dating and going out, I guess, but personally I would say because of tobacco and red fruits more like a dating. But that's where it reminds me a little bit of. I only tried Office for Men from Fragrance 1, not the Date for Men, but I'm actually quite eager to try that one. For me, at least, price is the definitive factor why I have not tried Date for Men or the other ones. Now let's talk about longevity and projection. Longevity is quite long lasting. I would say a work day, so around 8-9 hours you will get out of it. Of course, for the 9 hours, you know, the last remaining hours will be a bit more like a skin scent and will be not projecting as much as in the first, let's say, 2 to 3 hours, just like probably every fragrance on earth. If you spray very heavily, I could see someone, you know, can smell it for perhaps 10 hours because it's quite strong, but then again you have to spray a couple more times. If you go with the 3 normal sprays, I guess you get around 7-8 hours out of it. Silage is a bit decisive. I tried it on myself, of course. I looked online what people say about it, and it's found everywhere between very weak and eternal. So perhaps it's because of the popularity of Jeremy fragrance that it's a bit much of naysayers, bit much of more critics than other brands, perhaps, I don't know. But I would say the projection, or the silage rather, will be quite moderate, 2 feet, 3 feet away, especially in the first 3 hours, maybe even more. Nah, probably 2 feet. In the later hours, the 6th to 7th hour, probably will be a foot away, you know, hugging distance, and that will be a bit strange on the others, but not on the series. It is predominantly a male kind of scent. I can't really see a female wearing this because of the heavy ambroxan, because of the popularity of ambroxan in the late, perhaps decades by now, probably by now, decade, which to my knowledge is most male kind of fragrances that ambroxan is in. I think most people have, you know, linked it to a male kind of fragrance, and you can't really go around the ambroxan in this fragrance because that's quite heavy, quite pronounced, and if you don't like ambroxan kind of fragrances, this is not a fragrance for you. Overall conclusion: for what it's supposed to be, a office fragrance, I guess it's quite possibly one of the best fragrances if you want to have a normal to nice office fragrance. I really like the scent. It's really welcoming, it's really undecisive, it's really likable. But for the price, I would say it's, for me at least, it's not that special. I've read about, of course, Date for Men with the oud. That probably will be a bit more my jam, a bit more yeah, my jam. But I couldn't find the 10 ml bottles for that one, so I can't review that one for the price it's currently in. And that will be my you know, my last line probably of this fragrance. I like it, it's nice, it's really wearable, it's really likable by everyone, but it's also really expensive. And if you want to have a really likable fragrance, and you like Jeremy fragrance, of course, and you have the money, of course, try it. It's I like it very much, but it's also really expensive, and I get it. It's his own brand, and I guess it will cost quite a lot to, you know, manage it all. But these are really niche prices, and you know, I bought Xerjoff for less than a full bottle. I bought Spice Bomb Extreme for less than a full bottle. It's expensive, more expensive than Sauvage, etc. So I would say it's a bit too expensive for my taste, for what you get. But if you can get it down to a price like 50, 60, 70 euros, this will be selling probably better than Sauvage, I guess, because I really think it's that good. But that's my review. I hope you like it. A bit late to the game, of course, but I just saw this one in my collection and thought, what does it smell like again? So this is what it smells again like. Whoa, like again. So have a nice day. Ciao.